Hey, it's Joe Tamargo from WetheadPumpRepair.com. Alright, so this is part 7. We're going to be showing you how to mark the end bells and how to remove the armature shaft and how to remove the end bells as well. Okay? So basically you want to mark it with a center punch. Put 2 marks on each side. That way when you go to put it back together, you're going to line the through bolts more easily or easier. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take the hammer and our center punch. We're going to put a mark here. Put a second mark right next to it. And then we're going to also mark the end bell. Okay, now you did that. We're going to do the same thing for the rear of the motor. Okay, I'm going to put 2 marks right on the back of the casing. Okay, just like that, one next to each other. Okay, and then I'm going to put 2 marks on the rear end bell as well, right across from the other marks. Okay, just like that. Now I have my 2 marks here, you can see them. I have my 2 marks here, across from each other. I have my other marks. That way when I knock my end bells off now, and now I know exactly where to line it up. I'll align my 2 marks on the end bells with the 2 marks on the casings. Pretty simple, right? Pretty cool. Cool little trick, right? Alright, so here we go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to knock off my front end bell or start tapping it, okay? I'm going to take my screwdriver and I'm just going to tap it at the edge of the end bell. Okay, so there you go. Sometimes they're a little bit tighter. There we go. Now you can see my casing is slowly starting to split. What I mean by casing is the end bell with the stator component. Okay, see that? It's starting to split now. So I can take my screwdriver, you can just try to wiggle it back and forth depending on how good your tools are. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tap this side of it. Okay, you can see now my end bell's starting to spin, so now you can understand those marks, right? Because now the end bell's like, oh, was it here? Right, so now you have your marks, you just line your marks up, bam, it's easy. Alright, so now I got that starting to move out. I'm going to keep tapping it. Now what I'm going to do, as you can see now that's spinning freely, I'm going to turn my motor around and I'm going to take the back of my hammer, which is rubber. So if you have a wood hammer or a regular hammer, you can tap the back of the shaft. Just want to make sure you move everything out of the way, and then you can take your hammer and clock that a couple times like that. See that? And then see what that did was, it pushed the armature right out like that. See that? Pretty cool, pretty cool. So here we go. I'm going to pop the armature out. There you go. So you got your one bearing in the back, and then you got your one bearing in the front that's on this end bell. So I'm going to just take my armature shaft, move my homemade water sling out of the way. Alright, take my armature shaft and put that on the wood bench. I'm not going to put it on steel because I don't want to, break the tip. So I'm going to put it on the wood part. And I'm just going to tap. Now notice, if you've seen my other videos, some of these front end bells have the screw, but this one does not have the front screw. See that? There's no front screw. Okay, so there we go. Just going to tap this out. Pretty easy, right? That was pretty nice. So there you go. So there you go. You can see there is a front bearing there and a rear bearing. We're going to change these 2 bearings. Okay, and then once we change these 2 bearings, we are going to then put the armature back in there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to take my vise. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to push my armature shaft in there. That way I can use my bearing puller to remove the bearings. Alright, so remember, all parts are available at WetheadPumpRepair.com. We got these cool kits that come with the 2 bearings and the mechanical seal, both parts of the mechanical seal. I'm going to throw this nice little armature on the vise here. Okay, just like this, see that? See that? Just like that. Tighten it up, just like this. Okay, and now I'm going to stop. If you bought the premium DVD, you didn't even hear me say that, but you don't have to put a little bit up on YouTube at a time. Okay, so that concludes this episode and this part. Okay, and then when I come back, premium DVD holders won't even see this, so I'll just keep working. But if on YouTube, look for the next part now, where I'm going to show you how to remove these bearings. And then once we remove the bearings, we're going to install the bearings. And then once we install the bearings, we're going to put the motor armature back on the case. And once we do that, okay. But before we break, we just want to say thank you for watching, and have a nice day. And remember, all parts are available at WetheadPumpRepair.com. Peace.